It's that time of year again. The big coat is out, and it's time for Gary and Jamie to give us their World 11s for 2023 ahead of the nominees being announced on the 9th of January by FIFA 23, and you'll be able to have your say on that. So let's start then, after a fantastic year of football, with the players that you've agreed on. It starts with the goalkeeper.
Yes. Yeah, Alisson, obviously his performances for Liverpool. I think he's been the best in the world. I think the World Cup might have just shed a little bit of doubt on that, if anybody had any doubt, if people wanted to pick another side. But for me, he still remains the best goalkeeper that I see in world football at this moment in time.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Reiterate what Gary's just mentioned. And then you go to right back and centre back. We've gone for Hakimi, who was outstanding in the World Cup. Obviously done really well as well at PSG. And Marquinhos, I think, is a guy who seems so consistent whenever you see him play. Again at PSG. Brazil didn't go as they wanted in the World Cup.
Yeah, there's a lot of World Cup influences in there, I think, as well. But Modric still at 37 included in a world's best.
Absolutely stunning, really. What Croatia do, what he does is absolutely flabbergasting. And you think about that Champions League final, obviously Liverpool were favourites. Many felt for that game, and just the way in which they play in midfield, the way in which he does it with Kovacic. And Brozovic is it Brozovic? I forgot his name now.
Yeah, Croatia.
For Croatia is unbelievable. He holds them all together. The weight of his passes, the different techniques of how he passes the ball, he's one of the best that we'll ever see in that position. Talking
about one of the best we'll ever see, Lionel Messi last year was devastated not to be included in either of your World 11s.
Yeah, he got on to me, didn't he? Remember?
This year, you've both gone for him.
Yeah, listen, I think everyone was delighted that sort of Argentina won the World Cup. I think everyone was almost sort of urging him on to go and win it. And, you know, he just needed that one sort of big trophy. It was really interesting through the tournament because you weren't too enamoured with him at one stage, were you, when you said everyone just took the ball off him really easily?
I wasn't too enamoured with Argentina full stop. I just thought I'd watch
the World Cup winners.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. I just thought...
So what you put him in for?
They were bang average for the first sort of 3 or 4 matches. Watching him... he did get the ball taken off him a lot. Very different.
I'll be honest, you're not making a case for including him here.
No. To be fair, no, he's an unbelievable player. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But, you know, he's a very different player than he was 10, 11 years ago. I think if you can go, I mean, obviously now what he's done is just off the scale winning that tournament. He almost, in the end, was dragging his team over the line, and they were playing all around him. They were just sort of serving him. And it was a brilliant performance. He gets in on the right-hand side. He doesn't make it up front. He gets in on the right-hand side.
Because
there's in my view, there were 2 outstanding strikers, but it doesn't look like he's picked the same one as me. So I thought there were 2 outstanding strikers this season, and he's obviously gone for a different one than I have. Mbappe has to be on that left-hand side, doesn't he?
Yeah, Mbappe goes on the left. Haaland has to play. They're the 2 superstars, aren't they? Mbappe and Haaland feels like they're now going to take that place of Messi and Ronaldo that we've argued, debated for the last sort of 10 years, and I think we're going to continue to do that for the next probably decade over Mbappe and Haaland. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the rest of your team then first, Gary. So do you want to talk us through your selections? You've gone for Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, I got stuck on the left-hand side of my defence because actually the players that I initially picked, I picked Alaba from Real Madrid, and I probably would have picked Robertson as well from Liverpool.
It looks like you picked Stephen Ireland there.
But they weren't available for selection. I mean, sometimes when you come down to a struggle, these are the 2 positions I struggle most with.
Diaz doesn't get in the City team at the moment, you know.
Be quiet. These are 2 players I struggle with most on that side of the defence, and you end up sometimes going with players that you've seen either recently or that you see a lot of, and that's what I did really in the end. I wanted to go with Alaba, I wanted to go with Robertson. Like you said, they weren't available for selection.
You've gone for De Bruyne as well, Gary,
yeah.
And that one, haven't you?
He's the best midfield player in the world.
Which is probably indisputable at the moment.
Fact.
But does it affect the balance of the team, Jamie?
Yeah, well, if you remember last year, Gary went for 3 holding midfield plays, so he's gone completely the other way now. So he's got Modric pulling the strings, De Bruyne running all over the place. Listen, I'm going to say there's no bigger fan of De Bruyne than me, but I haven't put De Bruyne in. The reason being, I don't think he had.
Hang on, this is like Gary's Messi logic as well.
Really poor in the World Cup.
But you're not judging it on the World Cup, it's all of 2022.
I know, and I felt in the Champions League away. So the big competitions that you judge a team like this on, I think, would be a major tournament and the Champions League. And I think in the Champions League, in that away game at Real Madrid, I don't think it was the Kevin De Bruyne that we see normally week in, week out. So the highest level, I don't think De Bruyne has shown what he has done basically week in, week out for City.
Like you, Kelly, I don't read every single one of Jamie's articles every single week, but I think, I might be wrong, that you wrote that Kevin De Bruyne was the best player in the world only 2 or 3 months ago. Is that right?
The best midfield player over a 4 or 5 year period.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, not just this season.
Okay.
Right. So instead, you've gone for, a very different player. You've gone for Casemiro.
Well, I went for
and if we talk about recency bias, the guy's been brilliant since he came into Man United and has had a great World Cup.
And won the Champions League and La Liga,
Yeah.
Kelly, if you want to add
Before
that.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably had a good 12
Yeah.
months then, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And a nice bit of balance there. Two players who know each other. You know, Modric, De Bruyne, you're both getting in each other's way, trying to pull
I didn't realise they had
strings.
to be mates.
No, you have to
get
be
it.
mates, but a nice balance there.
No, I
I'm
love
surprised he hasn't
Casemiro.
put Pogba in. You know, he puts Pogba in every other team he picks.
I love Casemiro, but I just think you can't leave Kevin De Bruyne out of a world 11 at this moment in time in midfield. He's the best in the world.
So you both went for Haaland up front, but both of you went for a strike partnership with different partners.
Yeah, I went with Lewandowski. I think he's scored more goals than Haaland for club and country. He's obviously moved to Barcelona, different league, and I just felt that for me that was the right decision. Benzema's been unbelievable as well, but I just looked at the goals in the end, who'd scored the most between them, and I think he's above. I think Mbappe's top and Lewandowski was second, so I went for Lewandowski. He's a brilliant player.
Benzema, Ballon d'Or. How can you not put the guy who won European Footballer of the Year? How can he not go in?
Well, you didn't put him the best midfielder in the last 4 or 5 years.
He won the Champions League. He went. Benzema will go in ahead of Lewandowski, 100%. The fans will be with me.
What do you think? Are the fans on your team or are they on Carragher's?
I don't care whether the fans are on
winner.
my side or not. They're not usually. I generally don't. I just think I looked at it this morning and thought to myself,
He's just a stat man, isn't he?
No,
He's just a stat man. He's not even watched them. He's just looked at the stat pack.
No, Lewandowski is an unbelievable striker. You can't say over a
Do you
period
even know who
of...
he plays for right now?
Oh, my God. Shut up, dude. Honestly, Lewandowski has scored more goals this year than anybody in Europe apart from Mbappe.
Right, let's take a look at both teams then. Gary, let's start by taking a look at yours. This is what you've gone
There you
for.
go.
We talked about the balance of the side.
Did we?
Well,
You did.
I
I
asked
didn't.
Cara about it. Here's your chance to put the case for your team, even though you don't care if anybody agrees with you or not.
Look, to be honest with you, we're blessed with those strikers that you felt as though you had to go 4-2-4. We've both agreed on that. Usually it would go 4-3-3, he would, and I would go 4-2-4 or whatever, or vice versa. I had to think that because of the outstanding strikers, you could put Benzema in there.
He can play a little bit deeper as well, Benzema. They're just two out-and-out number 9s.
Yeah, I don't mind 4-4-2 though. You know, I generally don't mind the system at all. Oh, you're putting
Yeah,
Benzema.
he's
He's not putting Benzema in the hole.
Yeah.
Benzema's in the hole. There we go.
Yeah. He's like Mike Bassett there. He likes 4-4-2, doesn't he?
Oh my God, he's gone 4-2-3-1. He's put Benzema at number 10.
Do you think your side would beat Gary's?
Yeah. No balance at all in midfield, is there? There isn't, is there? De Bruyne running all over the place.
But
Modric left on his own in midfield.
Carrot,
Two number 9s, both getting in each other's way. No one coming between the
It
lines.
does not say on the criteria that you should pick the most balanced 11 of the year. It
Why
says
do you think happened at Valencia to you?
it-
Why did that happen? Now you all know what happened at Valencia.
No, what was it?
Can you imagine that team meeting with Phil? It doesn't matter, Phil. It doesn't matter. Just pick the names.
He
This
managed
is
a World Cup player. What did you do with him?
Rodrigo de Paul, I said it
Sent him
all
on
along.
loan. Sent him on loan.
But do you know something? Hey, I managed a World Cup player, I'll say. But do you know something? It's a criteria for picking the best 11 football players in their positions this year. It's not about the most balanced team this year. Let's be clear about that. Because if you were, you'd pick a completely different team.
You all right there?
And
Honestly, that guy's took the all night. Honestly.
that's not going to make it into social.
I couldn't get him to move that chain about 10 minutes ago. He's now come through a part way through one of these features.